Before there was anyone, there was Frank, North America's first teen idol. He became one of the most influential singers in the history of American popular music. He recorded more than 200 albums. Sinatra also became an accomplished actor, winning an Oscar for his supporting role in From Here to Eternity.
And if they put you in a hole, don't yell. Don't make a sound. You'll still be yelling when they come to take you out.
In New York's Times Square, he was remembered fondly by passers-by.
Oh God, it's a great loss. He was such a magnificent singer, and he attributes so much to this country and to its history, its musical history.
You know, just because we're young doesn't mean we don't respect the older musicians, and it's a great loss to the music community, and we'll miss Frank Sinatra.
He sure did. Frank Sinatra was 82.
In California, the folks there say he brought the desert city some glamour. And that's where we find CNN's Paul Verkaman on this day. Paul?
Well, Natalie, you're absolutely right, and there are nothing but warm feelings for Frank Sinatra here in this desert city, because when he moved here in 1947, he did bring Palm Springs a lot of his showbiz glitz, a lot of that star power. He brought rich and famous friends to town, people like Dean Martin, and others came to play in the celebrity golf tournament. Now behind me, sort of a makeshift shrine to Frank Sinatra. This is his star on Palm Springs Walk of Stars, and you can see the signs, "We will always love you, Francis," and "Francis Albert, you were the soundtrack of our lives." Well, a man who had a lot to do with putting together the Walk of Stars is Gerhard Frenzel. Step on in here. You met Frank Sinatra on many occasions, and tell us, just what did he mean to Palm Springs?
Frank Sinatra meant a lot to Palm Springs. He was a beloved neighbor, well-liked citizen, and he did a lot for charity. Rumor has it that he raised over $1 billion for charity.
And you noticed one great act of generosity, I guess it was more than a decade ago, when it turned out there was a young girl who needed money for a kidney dialysis machine, I believe.
Yes, I was witness to that. I was standing next to Sinatra when somebody asked him if they could have his autograph on his picture. They wanted to sell it to raise money for a dialysis machine. And he said, let's cut this real short. Give me all the information, I'll write you a check. But he swore everybody that was witness to this to secrecy. And a week later, that lady had a $12,000 check. But now the story can be told.
You've never told that story until today?
No, only to my immediate family.
Frank Sinatra just writing a $12,000 check.
Well, the dialysis machine was $18,000, but they had already raised $6,000, so he paid the difference.
He's also a man who enjoyed the company of friends, and I believe that you even shared a refreshment with him.
Yes, he had a big affair every year called the Sweetheart Ball on St. Valentine's Day. And that particular time, Julio Iglesias, Diane Warwick, and Red Buttons were entertaining, including him. He came on first, and after he had finished, we went backstage, and I stayed close to him because if he needed anything, I wanted to make sure he gets it. So he asked me to get from his table out front a bottle of Jack Daniels. And over the course of the evening, we pretty much killed that bottle.
Well, I thank you for taking time out.
It's my pleasure,
I'm sure there are many
Paul.
people who would like to salute both of you and Frank and all of Palm Springs on this day, and remember the good times here in Palm Springs and the great times that they had with Frank Sinatra. Now back to you in Atlanta.
Very nice. All right, Paul Verkaman.
Hi.
I gather you were at Sinatra's last concert in Toronto.
I was in '89 at the Sky Dome.
And what was it like? Was he still at the peak of his singing powers?
He was the king of cool, the casual man about town. Unfortunately, it was not a particularly good night. That there had been some mini flies who escaped under a tarpaulin, and that they infested the stage. And it was, by lack of a better description, a disaster for all concerned.
What is Sinatra's legacy?
I think it combines ability to capture the singing and movie acting, and he managed those two careers at the same time and did it well. Although he had some downtimes too, especially in the early 50s.
There was something really special about his singing voice and the way he delivered a song. In a lot of ways, it was like he was talking to you. It was something really special.
He made you listen to the words, and he sang songs that had words and had something to say. That was one of his prime reasons, I think, for being so popular.
He also really seemed to know what kind of material best suited him.
Yeah, he was a big fan of jazz musicians, and I think he valued those people above all else, and probably treated his bands and the people that worked for him better than most people outside of that profession.
What about his, he had a very controversial life. What about that?
Well, he liked to live large, as they say, and as I said, in the 50s was probably his lowest point. He left his wife and 3 kids for Ava Gardner, and then followed that with a throat hemorrhage in 1952, and was just about to bottom out when he landed the role in From Here to Eternity, and that turned his career around in the mid-50s.
Okay, we're going to be remembering him and his music for a long time. Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Joe, how are you coping right now?
It's been difficult, knowing that we've lost one of the greatest talents in the world.
What kind of man was he?
He was a man's man. He stood for no nonsense. If you were his friend, you needed no one. His parting words every time he'd walk out the door, "Joe, do you need anything? Only your friendship." And he says, "You got that."
When was the last time you saw him?
Oh, it's when he was at Carnegie Hall. It's got to be about 2 years ago, probably 2.5 years ago.
Did he come to the restaurant?
Oh, definitely. If he was within 100 miles of New York City, he was here.
Now, he always ate the same dishes, and we asked you to prepare some of the dishes that he always ate when he came here.
His favorite dishes.
Why don't you point to him and tell us?
The clam posilipo, he would start with. His words after that were marvelous. His favorite peccatelle with the basil and tomato sauce. Then he would end up with the veal cutlet Milanese, very, very thin. And for dessert, a double espresso. And he either have a cannoli or the pasticciotto.
It looks delicious.
It is his routine. I look at this and my heart is breaking, because this is Sinatra.
What would you like to say to the people watching this about Frank Sinatra?
You'll never, ever forget him. He is the pinnacle, he's the top of everything in my life.
Joe, thanks for talking with us. We appreciate your time.
It's my pleasure.
Frank Sinatra is gone, but you can guarantee that his spirit still lives in this restaurant. This is Gary Tuckman, CNN in New York City.
And you can post your thoughts on the life of Sinatra at the CNN Interactive website. There's a special tribute that includes information about the singer, the actor, the man, and an online photo gallery. And there are some links to other Sinatra websites. That's all at cnn.com/Sinatra. And when CNN Today continues in 1 hour, I'll talk with singer Harry Connick Jr. about Frank Sinatra, plus more on the man and his music. That's in 1 hour. I'm Natalie Allen. Talk Back Live is next.
In late 1942, at New York's Paramount Theater, Sinatra joined Benny Goodman's band in a performance of the musical Star-Spangled Rhythm, alongside his idol, Bing Crosby. Because of Frank's overwhelming effect on the audience, a new word was coined, swoon, as in, the girls were swooning over him.